We're just noticing any changes that might be happening right here and right now in the physical body, noticing physical, the mental, the emotional, our triangle of awareness as we navigate this season of change. So as you sit here or lie here, see if you can find places to physically let go and soften onto your mat. Let the body be held and supported. And we see if we can cultivate this skill of noticing, but perhaps not holding on so tightly. This practice of letting go. Even when it's exciting, change doesn't always feel all good, or it can be unsettling. But it happens whether we like it or not. As you rest here, check in with the body from head to toe. And find places where you might be able to soften if there's any gripping, any holding that you might actually be able to let it go. Check in from head to toe here. We can let one thing go, and then another small thing, and another, and another. And all the smaller things we can let go of will help us to be free, will help us to create space for greater softness in body and mind. Each small act of letting go, physically, mentally, or emotionally, makes it easier for us to let go of the more challenging things that will inevitably come along the way. This practice of letting go, helping us to navigate with greater skill through life's more challenging stressors, changes, and transitions. This process of separation and growth with the change of each season provides a sense of intimacy with the lessons of change and transformation. As we practice a sense of openness, and we let go of control and knowing in order to create space for softness, potential growth, and to allow us to celebrate life's forward flow. As we rest here in stillness and silence, we set the stage to start practicing the act of letting go. We can bring this into our asana, our active practice as well. Each pose, finding places to soften and let go. Each pose, exhaling tension and tightness. Before we start moving, taking a few rounds of intentional breath here. This big breath into the low belly and the chest. This big long exhale. Remembering to stay connected to the breath throughout our practice. Letting go on each exhale. And perhaps releasing some tension or something we might be holding on to energetically. So we'll start out stretching out the legs, stretch those arms overhead. Just a big full body stretch, lengthen everything out. Deep breaths here. And on your next big inhale, breathe into that low belly, and then exhale, hug those knees into the chest. While we're here, circle those ankles. Start to lubricate those joints a bit. And then feet down flat on the floor. I'm just shimmy my shoulder blades underneath my back, lift that heart chakra, open the chest a bit, stretch up and slide that block underneath the tailbone. Take your time and set up. Drawing in one knee at a time. Stretch those legs up and flex the feet. And point the feet. So your arms are resting maybe alongside the body with palms face up, maybe hands are on the belly, whatever feels most secure. Let's circle those ankles here. In both directions. Bend and straighten. Notice what's going on in the knees here. And then hold those legs up. And shake it out a bit or tap up and down the legs. Get the inner thighs, outer hips. And then just stretch those arms up and hold. Letting all the excess fluid drain back from the lower body to the center of the body to be filtered. That lymphatic fluid coming back from the feet and the legs through those filters in the hips. Circle the wrists while we're here. We'll come into a little hip stretch. Hug that left knee into the chest. Flex that right foot and nice and slow. Lower that right leg down. Maybe let it hover off the floor an inch or two. Belly is anchored down to the spine. So we're working our core here, working those leg muscles. And now drop that right foot down. Right leg is relaxed. Left foot comes down as well. Inhale, stretch that left arm overhead. So right leg, left arm. Make a diagonal line with the body. Close the eyes, take a few breaths. And then switch it up. We'll hug everything back into the chest. This time, hug the right knee, left leg stretches up. Flex that left foot. Turn on those belly muscles, anchor them down to the spine. And then nice and slow. Lower that left leg. Let it hover here for a bit. We start to open that front of the left hip, the hip flexor. And working that core. If we're holding that leg off the floor. And then relax left foot down. Right foot comes flat on the floor. Big inhale, stretch the right arm overhead. Once again, diagonal line, right arm, left leg. Working opposing limbs. Connecting and enhancing that communication between the right brain and the left brain. Point the toes on the left foot. See if you can lengthen some of the muscles down the front of that left leg. Big breath in and out. And release. Come back to center one more time. Stretch those legs up in the air. And now we'll bend those knees and circle those knees out and away. Belly's pulled into spine. And then switch it up, circle the other way. So just notice any sensations in the hips, any clicking. Kind of lubricating the hip joint. And then feet come back down on the ground. So let's take a full body stretch again. Slide those legs out. If this is too much for the back, then remove the block and once again, just do it flat on the mat. And then inhale, stretch the arms overhead. Point those toes. So this time we're in a little baby back bend. And release. Back to center. Lift those hips up, slide that block off to the side. And nice and slow, release that spine back down onto the mat. So I'm going to walk my heels in as close as I can get them to my glutes. I'm going to readjust and draw those shoulder blades down underneath the back. Try and lift and open the chest and the heart chakra. We'll do a few rounds of flowing bridge. Inhale, stretch it up, arms overhead. And exhale, release down. Again, breathe in. And let go, breathe out. Breathe in. Let go and breathe out. Spine comes back down to the mat. 3 more times. Maybe the eyes are closed. And one more time. Inhale it up. Stretch those arms and see if you can hold it here. Push down into the feet. Turn on those thigh muscles, the quadriceps. And exhale. Release the spine back down. Hug those knees in and release into a happy baby. All right, moving on, we will grab our strap next. Stretch those legs up into the air. We'll do our figure 4. If you don't have a strap, you could always use a bathrobe belt or a dog leash. An old tie, if you have like an old necktie. Just start to kind of alternate, bend opposite knees here, just like we're walking our dog and down dog. And then we'll start with the left leg. Take that left leg out, cross it over the right, figure 4. We'll start into that outer left hip. Flex that left foot to protect the knee. And then flex that right foot to get a stretch up into that right calf and Achilles tendon. So take a moment here to circle, to rock side to side, whatever feels good. Maybe rolling over onto that right hip, lift that left glute off the floor. So you're working on balance here. Draw the belly into the spine as that right foot comes over to about 1 o'clock and just see how that changes it for the hip. And then release back to center. Switching sides, left foot comes in. Right foot comes to figure 4. And we once again use the strap to draw that left leg in closer. Be gentle with the knees. If there's any tension in the knees or discomfort, and you keep this pose super loose and you don't pull in that left leg so much. So again, take a moment to rock or circle or just hold it still. And then roll over onto that left hip. Right glute comes an inch or two off the floor. Left foot is over at 11 o'clock. Flex that foot here. And then release. Come back to center. Last one. Both feet come up into the strap. Stretch those legs and open those legs to a V. Coming as wide as it feels comfortable for you. Nice soft bend in the knees. And rock it out here. Massage that low back. This rocking motion helping to relax the nervous system as we rock the body with the whole spine and skull supported, just like as we were rocked as infants. Helping to bring us into parasympathetic rest and digest mode in the central nervous system. Turn off those stress hormones. So close the eyes, take a few breaths here. And then release those legs back to center. We'll drop that strap off to the side for now. And let's come into a reclined tree pose. So just to get a feel for what it's like on our back, and we'll see if we can kind of mimic that in a standing pose. So let's stretch those legs out and then bring your right foot into tree. So if there's any pulling or tugging on the hips or the low back, grab your block or a pillow and prop it up and support underneath that outer right thigh. And then whatever arms you might do in tree. So you might try cactus arms and just bend at the elbows. Or you might want to stretch those arms up and have those arms a few inches off the floor, a little bit more active. So check out what it feels like to have both shoulders on the ground here. And that body is nice and flat and open. And we'll see if we can do that in our other poses. So when you do it lying down, you can see how this is actually a hip opener tree pose with that knee coming open to the right. And then we try and do that standing. And then we'll release, switch sides. Left leg coming into tree. Maybe you can switch the arms up here. Close the eyes, take a few breaths into that low belly. Between the belly button and the pubic bone. Take a big breath in there. Belly rises up and away off the spine, then breathing into the chest. And then big long exhale to let go. Each time you exhale, what can you let go of energetically? And then just check in from head to toe. Find places where there might be gripping. Check that right glute, check the right leg. Check the jaw and let go. And then release those legs back out. We're going to come into our banana pose before we move on. So let's just grab our strap one more time. And we'll inhale. The arms overhead, strap overhead. So we'll do this standing as well for a balance pose. We'll walk those feet over. We'll do it lying down first and then change it up later. And then inch that upper body over to the right. So bring your body into the shape of a banana or a half moon. Relax those shoulders down away from the ears. And then option to cross that left foot over the right. So let those elbows bend. Find places to let go. Check those shoulders. Stretch up the whole left side of the body here. Take a few breaths into the left rib cage. Stretching up the fascia or the connective tissue up the left side of the body, just as if you had like a seam going up the left side of the body. And then release back to center, switch it over to the other side. Head comes to the left corner, walk the feet over to the left corner. And then option to go deeper across that right foot over the left. So see what your energy is like. Maybe you want that right arm to be a few inches off the ground, reaching and active, lengthening the right arm. Or maybe you feeling like you want a little bit more restorative and gentle. Bend those arms into cactus and just let those arms rest down. Pick your level of intensity. Close the eyes and take a few breaths here. And then release, come back to center. So let's start out. We're going to work on balance on our side, lying down. Let's just roll over onto our right. We have our theme of balance today. And I'm going to make a little pillow with that right arm. Take your time and get comfy. We're going to pull the belly into the spine. And you can start working on balance, having that left knee kind of turning and opening. And then maybe that left foot comes back behind you. And maybe you can be just kind of on that left big toe. So working on pulling the belly into the spine for balance here. And then we can stretch that left arm up in the air. So that bottom leg can be bent if you need more support, more of a challenge. Straighten that bottom leg out. And then we'll pull the belly, that left knee into the chest here. So we're working on balance even though we're lying down. And then if it's available, reaching for that left big toe, stretch that leg up in the air. If that's not available, maybe you hold the ankle or behind the knee and you're still working on balance. Maybe bottom leg comes off the floor. And circle that ankle on the lower leg. And then relax that bottom leg down. We'll bend that left knee, reach that left foot back behind, and kick back behind us. So we're stretching that hip flexor and the quadricep on that top leg as you reach back, turn and open that chest up to the sky. And then release down. All right, we're going to flip over, roll over onto the belly, and this time onto the left side, and we'll repeat that. A little series there, with a little pillow with that left hand. And we'll start out, bend that right knee, turn and open that right leg up to the sky, and then right foot comes back behind us, stretch that right arm up. So if this is too much and you can't get that right leg back behind you, you could always have it in front, if that works. Pull that belly in here as we work on balance. Continuing to breathe intentionally as we bring that right knee into the chest. And then stretching that right leg up in the air. Flex that right foot here. Push that right foot up to the sky. Holding on to that right leg wherever it's available. And then release, bend that right knee, reach back for that right foot. You could use your strap here as well. And we'll get a little stretch here into that right hip flexor, down the front of that right thigh here. Pull the belly in, maybe kick back behind you, turn and open the right side of the chest up to the sky. Belly's helping you balance here. And then release out. So we're going to make our way into a side plank. We're going to work on balance in side plank, and we're going to try and do tree. So take your time and remember that you can always do your side plank if you have any wrist issues, any hand issues. You can do your side plank like this on that forearm, and then come into tree, or you can come into a full side plank. So just change this screen here. Take your time and set up for it. There we go. So choosing your level of intensity, and it's not necessarily easier doing it on the, I guess a little bit on the forearm. It's still really challenging to do it on the forearm. So I'm going to check and make sure that wrist is directly beneath the shoulders as I come into my plank. So you can feel free to stack your feet or stagger the feet and have them toes up against the heels. Take a breath or two here as we're working on balance and strength. And then maybe coming into tree pose here with that right leg. So remember on your back how that right leg opened to the side. Take a breath or two here. And then exhale, release back to center, come to plank, drop those knees, and exhale, let go, come back into child's pose. Take a break here between sides. Relax that head. And then come back up, back to our tabletop. Before we switch sides, pull the belly into the spine. We'll do a little cat-cow, breathe into the back bend. And exhale, curl it. Two more times here. Breathing in and out. In and out. And then release. So switching sides, coming to side plank on the right side. So again, feel free to come down to that right forearm. Right palm will be nice and flat on the ground. Stepping one leg back and then the other, setting up. Turning to the right. And then when you're ready, stretch that right arm straight up. So option to keep that hand on the hip or wherever you need it to help you balance. Rotating my bottom ribs forward towards the screen. And then maybe left leg comes into tree. So we're building bone density here. Muscles on the right arm are tugging on the bone and telling the body to build more bone cells. Release, come back to a plank. Hold it here for a breath or two, maybe rocking back and forth a few times. Stretch out those toes. Big breath in and out. And then drop down, pull back, child's pose. Circle the wrists here, shake them out, whatever feels good. And take a breather. Okay. So let's stretch our low back before we come up to do our standing tree. I'm going to have my arms stretched out front and walk those hands over to 10 or 11 o'clock. Come up on those fingertips. So it's nice and active. And then I'm going to let my right hips kind of drop over to the right, off to the right, and try and let them sink down a bit. So take a breath or two here once again. Stretching up the right side of the body, up into that right armpit. You can relax your head on a block if that feels good. And then switch sides, walk over. Hands come to about 1 o'clock. And then this time I'm going to let my left hip drop and sink off to the side. Relax those shoulders here. Let go of any gripping. And find the stretch that starts in the left low back. Trace that arc up the left side of the body. And then release back to center. So we're going to come back up to our table. We're going to tuck those toes. We're going to make our way up to stand. So feel free to come through a downward dog with me or get up however it feels safe for you. If you're in down dog, you just really softly bending opposite knees. Just kind of waking up the legs here. And then we'll bend those knees and walk those hands back. And make your way up to stand. So we'll work on some standing balance here. Have your strap nearby. Start out just rolling those shoulders back and down. Feet are hip width apart, and hip width, if you take your two fists and put them between your feet, that's about what your hips will be about maybe 6 inches for ladies, maybe 8 for men. Belly's pulled into spine. Inhale, stretch it up. And exhale, release down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time, breathe in. And hands together, lower those hands in front of the heart. Close the eyes. And take a few breaths here. Just check in with the body, balancing the feet, connecting down into the earth. And coming back to that concept of letting go as we transition from one season to the next here. And then when you're ready, open the eyes. So we're going to come into our tree pose. I'm going to grab my strap in case you want to use it. Have it handy. So coming into tree, we'll start grounding that left foot. Right foot will come into tree, so you remember you can have that right foot on the floor the whole time. Right foot on that inner calf, or right foot all the way up above the knee. So just not on the knee, no pressure on the knee. So choose your level. It might depend on your hips, any knee issues, but remember how it felt when we were on our back, how open the body was. Let that right knee open to the side. And then I'm going to use my strap. You don't have to, you can stretch those arms up. Pull the belly into the spine. Crown of the head is reaching straight up here. Take a breath or two here. Letting go, softening those shoulders. And from here, we're going to come into another side lean. So I'm going to stretch those arms up, get as tall as I can, and then leaning over to the right. Draw that belly into the spine. So we're not leaning far, but we're lengthening again up the left side of the body. And then release, come back to center, nice and slow. Let's bring that right leg forward and let's cross it over the left. So we're still working on balance here. Once again, big breath in. Stretch those arms all the way up. And once again, lean over to the right. Belly's pulled in. The right arm is parallel to the floor. Left arm reaching left. Back to center. And exhale those arms down. I'm going to flatten my right foot now and come all the way down into a forward fold. So feel free to come down to the blocks here. Have soft knees, and I'm going to see if I can bring that right pinky toe over closer to the left pinky toe. Line those feet up. Stretch out the back of the legs. Release the head here. And then nice big bend in the knees to come back up to stand and uncross. All right, we'll switch and do the same series on the opposite side. So grounding into that right foot this time. Lift those toes, spread them nice and wide, and then place them back down like a fan. Shift the weight into the right leg, into the right foot. And then coming into tree on the left. So finding your tree, maybe the left foot stays down the floor the whole time. Or maybe it comes up higher. So just checking in with that left leg and thinking about, like when we were on our back, turn and open that left knee out to the side, opening that hip. Inhale, stretch those arms up. You can have your regular tree arms. You could have hands in prayer. You could have cactus arms, hands on hips, whatever works for you here. Your own level of intensity. Find a place to let go of any gripping. Check the jaw. Soften those shoulders a bit. Belly's pulled into spine. Grounding down into that right leg. Balancing here. And now we're going to lean. So I'm going to take a big breath in. Get as tall as I can. And then leaning left. Balancing tree, side lean. a break whenever you need it. You could use a chair or the wall here as well. And then when you're ready, come back to center nice and slow. And we'll see if we can cross that left leg over the right. I'm just on the left big toe here, still working on balance. And once again, nice and tall, take a breath in. And leaning left. So see if you can bring those shoulder blades closer to one another on the back. Lift open that chest, maybe look up to the sky. So we're getting some good chest openers here today. Nice and slow, come back to center. I'm going to flatten that left foot next to the right and try and line up those two pinky toes together. Take a big tall breath in. And exhale, forward fold, coming down. Soft bent knees, you can let that head hang here. You can use blocks for support. If the floor is not available. And then nice big bend in those knees. Come all the way up and let my strap down there, roll those shoulders back and down, and uncross those legs. All right, let's come a little wider than hip width and just let those arms go. Off the side of the body if you want to come into a little bit of a deeper twist. Heels come off the floor. Just let everything go, loosen up here. So we'll continue to work on balance here. One more pose that we'll do. Slow it down here, maybe taking a few deep breaths before we move on. Inhale. And exhale, arms to side. Breathe in. Breathe out. And one more. This time, palms down in front of the heart, hands together, close those eyes. And take 3 rounds of intentional breaths here. And then when you're ready, open those eyes, shake everything out. So our next pose we're going to do for balance today specifically is, I'll turn sideways. So we'll start grounding that right foot, and just to show it to you real quick, your hands can be wherever they need to be for balance. You're on a chair, on a wall, on your hips, anywhere. We're going to start bringing that left leg up and come into flamingo, and then we will stretch back into warrior 3. So take your time, lift those toes, spread them nice and wide, and then toes come back down onto the ground. I'm coming onto my left big toe, shifting the weight into that right leg, checking in with posture, drawing the belly in, crown of the head reaching straight up. So here we go, coming into flamingo. That left leg comes up in the air. And then whatever arms feel safe, flamingo arms, you'd stretch that left arm out, reach that right arm up. So we're looking straight ahead here, remembering that in our balance poses, if we look up, the weight of our head will pull us back. And if we're looking down at the floor, the weight of the head will pull the body forward. So the spine is long and tall. And then as you're ready, you can always take a break or start to bring that leg back to warrior 3. Pull the belly into the spine. So our balance poses help us to improve our bone density. All the muscles on the right leg are tugging on the bones of the right leg. Pull that belly into the spine. See if you can point those left toes down to the floor. Square those hips. And then releasing back into warrior one. Left foot comes back down. Big breath in. And exhale over that front leg. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. That left foot is back down on the mat. We're bending into that front knee. Exhale, warrior one. And then release, come back up. And exhale it down, step out, shake it out. And we'll switch sides. So left foot forward. Coming into our flamingo. Shift the weight into the left leg, belly's drawn into spine. And we start to bring that right knee up into the air. Find your arms. Flamingo arms, stretch the right arm out, reach that left arm for the sky. And check in with your spine. Even the neck, the spine in the neck, is it long and straight? Crown of the head, reaching straight up here. Let go and soften the shoulders a bit. And then as you're ready, big breath in. And as you exhale, coming into your warrior three pose. Right toes are pointing straight down to the ground. Belly's pulled into spine. Draw those shoulder blades closer to one another on the back. Take a break whenever you need it and come back in. And then as you're ready, soft bend into that left knee, coming back into warrior one. Right foot comes back, big breath in. Exhale, fold over. Again, breathe in and out. One more time, inhale it up. And exhale, fold over. And stretch it back up. And exhale, release those arms. Take your time and step out. Shake everything out. 3 breaths. Inhale it up. Sun breath this time. Breathe in. And exhale. Soft knees. Swan dive down. Inhale, nice flat back, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold, release. And then come all the way up, breathe in. And exhale, arms to your side. Roll those shoulders back and down. And then roll those shoulders forward. All right, we're going to make our way back down onto our mat. Take your time. And when you get down, hug those knees into the chest, rock side to side. Take a few big breaths here. Close the eyes. As we start to slow down, coming into a happy baby. Just kind of rocking it out. If there's any final stretch or pose that your body needs, take it here. Yogi's choice. And then slowly starting to come into a twist. We'll stretch those arms out to the side and drop those knees over to the right. So feel free to have a block for support under or between the knees. Head turns left. A few breaths here. And then knees come back to center. Rock it out, a little massage, and then drop those knees over to the left. Head turns right. Take a breath or two here. And then release, come back to center. Make your way into a place of rest. Whatever that might look like for you. In Shavasana, any low back pain, feel free to rest in Shavasana with the knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Let those knees come together and touch, kind of like a teepee. And whatever arms might feel comfortable. It's such a great concept to combine balance poses as we talk about transition to a new season of the year. Perhaps we have transition going on in our own lives personally. Keeping our balance and yet finding places to soften and let go as we move through transition and change. Keeping ourselves grounded. In times of transition, which can be unsettling. There might be a sense of groundlessness, but we can check in with our breath. And connect the body to the earth. And our grounding balance poses. A moment here to rest in stillness and let all of our poses integrate into the body, all the way down into our cells. Bringing the attention to the breath. And just watching the rise and fall. Belly and the chest. Each exhale, letting go. In the comfort of your own home, if you have the time and the inclination, stay right where you are, resting in stillness. But if you are ready to move on, start to bring some movement back into the body and take your time rolling onto your side. And then eventually pushing back up to sit. We'll bring the hands together in front of the heart. Closing our practice with a loving kindness meditation. May you be happy. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you feel grounded and balanced in times of transition. And may you be filled with a sense of ease. Namaste.